they do here. First and goal. Rodgers hangs in the pocket, throwing into a lot of traffic, and it's caught for the touchdown by.
And as always, you can follow us on Twitter at First and Goal Pod. Follow the guys. Jay is at UPJ33. Dave is at Steak and Cheese. And the fantasy wonder man himself, Dylan, is at DylanBusby1. Email all your questions and comments to us at firstandgoalpodcast@yahoo.com, and you will make the show live during our mailbag segment. Again, that's firstandgoalpodcast@yahoo.com. And welcome, everybody, to another live edition of First and Goal, the preview show, Packers versus the Redskins, Week 14. I am your founder and producer, Jay Andrews, up in the UP. And down in Georgia, as always, your host with the most, it's Dave.
What's going on, First and Goalers? What is going on? I know you haven't heard from us in a little bit in a couple nights, but we got a big one, like Jay said, the preview show for Washington for in Green Bay for tomorrow. I'm excited. I know Jay's excited, and I know our guest, Paul Williams, is excited. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Jay, Andrew, Dave, man. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. I'm excited for a game tomorrow. Should be a good one. I'm hoping for a good one, but I'm at least excited to be entertained by these guys, big Packers fans. And, yeah, I'm ready for it. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no, you're not done yet, sir. We're going to go ahead and go right into a segment called the Brag Time. We like to give everybody who comes on their own little moment of, hey, how did I get here to this moment? Build yourself up, show your ego a little bit. Tell us about yourself and what you've done, Paul.
Oh, man. Well, I'm a lifelong Redskins fan, and that used to be something to brag about. The past couple of years, we've been a little bit down the dumps, but we started this podcast. Me and my buddies from high school started this podcast about 6 years ago. We've been building up a little bit, and at least I know this is brag time, and I'm not really bragging that much, but we at least get to come on here a couple times a week and talk about the Redskins and have like a little bit of group therapy about them. And every once in a while they surprise us and give us a little bit something good. So, yeah, that's about it.
Well, you know what? What you just said is they're surprising teams now. And it's not to me really a surprise. I've always respected the Redskins with a lot of talent. And I really think one of the problems was Jay Gruden.
Yeah, it's the problem with Jay Gruden is that I think the Redskins need a coach with a little bit more discipline, and you're seeing it now a little bit with Callahan. He comes in here with a guy who's been to Super Bowl, a guy who has a reputation in the league, and a guy who wanted to crack down a little bit once he became the interim head coach. Jay Gruden, I mean, God bless him, he was kind of just a go along to get along type of guy, and I think that a organization like the Redskins with so many downfalls from just the ownership to the front office to the coaching staff with Jay Gruden, they needed a little bit more leadership. And that's what I mean. I can't explain how they've won 2 games this season. I'm surprised they've won at these past 2 in a row, to be perfectly honest with you guys. But, yeah, I mean, whatever they're doing is working for them.
Well, there wasn't a question I prepared, but it just came to my mind. And I've heard rumors about this all season long. I remember seeing a couple posts earlier in the year about it. And is it true that Dwayne Haskins was sneaking in bed with Jay Gruden's daughter at college at Ohio State? Because I've heard rumors of this, and then as soon as those rumors came out, Dwayne was benched like in training camp and didn't get rep ones at all.
Well, if there's one thing about Jay Gruden, he had no problem just talking bad about whatever quarterback he's supposed to be coaching up. He was hired here.
Oh, not at all.
He was hired here with the job to coach up RG3, and he promptly put him on the bench for Kirk Cousins. And then Kirk was always his guy, but, you couldn't say too many nice things about him once Kirk started doing his Kirk thing. I mean, I'm sure you have seen his shortcomings up there in the NFC North. And, guys from Alex Smith to Case Keenum to Colt McCoy, it's always someone with the quarterbacks. And I honestly have never seen a coach dump on a quarterback like Dwayne Haskins. I mean, with a high pedigree. And I know people can talk about whether Dwayne Haskins was Daniel Snyder's guy. But, he put him promptly on the bench. So the whole thing with his daughter might actually have some credence. I don't know.
Well,
that's when the rumors came out, and then it just happened. That's why I'm going to
jump in here because we're talking quarterbacks right now, and this is something I am very passionate about. I'm hard on them. I don't care if it's the freaking great-grandson's dog's draft pick at quarterback. If that's who you have, it's your job as the head coach. You're being paid millions of dollars to lead him, and you do it. And it's not like they went and drafted Tim Tebow and gave him to him and said, make it work. Like, then I could understand being frustrated. And this idea that Dwayne Haskins can't do it, is too raw. I mean, the whole pre-draft process, okay, we got told he couldn't throw on the move. And then he went out in his pro day and stuff, and I know it's against air, but he showed that he could throw on the move. I don't know. I'm a Wisconsin guy, okay? I love Wisconsin. I'm watching the Wisconsin-Ohio State game right now. I watched plenty of Dwayne Haskins. I watched him throw on the move. Is he raw? Does he have some work? Yeah, but we have this conversation about Mitch Trubisky. He's gonna be a third-year pro and still have less starting starts under his belt than guys that are going to be coming in as juniors and seniors that were starting as freshmen in college. I mean, so, yeah, is he raw? Yeah. That's what your damn job is as a head coach. Does he
right.
I mean, and I preach mechanics because mechanics, you either have them or you don't. And and he, like, it's the little things. He has some sloppiness to him, but he's young. But his footwork, he's got good feet. He's got a good release. He seems to relatively be able to place the ball in tight windows. I mean, does he have some work? Yeah. But
right.
I'm hard on quarterbacks, man. But at the same time, with young kids, you can only be so hard. Like, coach them up.
No. Right. No, you're absolutely right. That's your job. And as a guy who was brought in as like a quarterback guru, you should be able to work with what you're given. Yes, Dwayne Haskins is raw. He only played 13 games in college, and they brought him in under the whole pretense that he's going to take some time. But you got to coach him up. Honestly, I do think part of it was Jay Gruden trying to save his job. Because honestly, he probably should have been fired last December, if we're being perfectly frank. And he gave him another year. And he was like, okay, well, can I win games with Case Keenum? I always have this thing with Jay Gruden that he likes quarterbacks that are system quarterbacks. He doesn't like guys that have a little improv to their game. And I think that Dwayne Haskins has shown, like you said, that he can move on. He can throw on the run. He has a little bit of sloppy mechanics, but when he gets out of that pocket and he lets that thing rip, he makes special things happen. But he likes guys like Case Keenum and Colt McCoy and Alex Smith, guys who are going to stick to the script, the guys who are going to do what they're told. And the stats might not be amazing, but it'll be a nice, tidy game. And, the things we've seen with Dwayne Haskins over the past couple of weeks is that he takes sacks. Sometimes he turns the ball over. He hasn't done it much these past couple of weeks, but in his first few games, he was turning the ball over quite a bit. And something like that would really piss off somebody like Jay Gruden. So, but yeah, like you said, it's his job to coach up the players that he's given. And he was a 15th overall pick. You got to get him in the game at some point. And when he was resisting the front office's request to get him in the game and to get him playing, I think that was the end of his job. And then,
okay. Paul, there's an issue, though, with high drafted quarterbacks. It's one thing when you've got Brett Favre, even Alex Smith when they drafted Patrick Mahomes, is a good enough, established, winning veteran quarterback. Don't give me don't like I don't care how raw Dwayne Haskins is. Don't bullshit me. I hate being lied to, okay? I might not be the smartest dude in most rooms I walk in, but I know when I'm getting bullshitted, okay? And for Jay Gruden to sit up there and to honestly tell any person that he believes his best chance to win and keep his job is with Colt McCoy or Case Keenum, when you have years of tape in the NFL with them being successful and not successful, you're lying to me. I don't care. I mean, you got the 15th overall pick. Coach him up. Get him in there. You don't have an established guy. You're going to get fired just like he did. At least, because here's the thing, Paul. At least if you go and you lose games with the 15th overall pick, your caveat is, well, God, I'm doing the best we can. He's got a lot to learn, but the best thing for him is to learn under fire. We're coaching him up. It'll get better, but you can't, if you fire me, you're starting all over with him. Let's get him through these lumps together. He didn't do that. So he bullshitted everybody, bullshitted himself. It cost him his job, period.
Right. No, I'm absolutely with you on that. And going back to 2014 when he got the job in the first place, he was told to come in here and work with RG3. And instead of designing an offense that was going to be good with him, I mean, something like the Shanahans did, I know that he didn't really want to be running like that anymore, but he brought his Andy Dalton like Cincinnati Bengals offense, and it wasn't a good fit with RG3, and he promptly benched him and put in Kirk Cousins, somebody who was going to do what he was told. So you're absolutely right. He was supposed to bring in a 15th overall pick and get him ready to play. He didn't do it, and it ultimately cost him his job.
Well, you know what? We're going to rewind time a little bit here, and I want to delve into what players made you such a Redskins fans, Paul. What top 5 Redskins players are your favorites, such as you've been alive? It can be even past, present. I know you probably watch film, but guys that you've been alive, who are your top 5 Redskins?
Right. Okay. Yeah, of course, I'll give you my top 5 right now. But my top Redskins player of all time is Darrell Green. He was voted in the top 100 players of all time last night on NFL Network. A guy that was playing
forever.
At a very high, forever. He has a rumor that he was keeping Tootsie Rolls in his sock and it made him run fast. I don't know how much truth that was, but I know that he did run a 4.40 at age 50, so that's pretty daggone fast. And a guy that was playing at a high level into his 30s and 40s. Honestly, like I said, maybe the best Redskin player of all time, and I got to witness his the back end of his career. I mean, I've been a Redskins fan for 25 years, and he was still playing at a high level into the 90s.
He was still getting interceptions at the last year of his career.
Right. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Another guy that I really love from the good old days is Art Monk, a guy that, at one time led the NFL in all-time catches. One time had the record for catches in a season. A guy that maybe never had the breakout moment, maybe never had the signature moment, a big catch in a Super Bowl or whatever like that, but a guy who a lunch pail guy who brought his lunch pail. He was Mr.
Reliable.
Exactly. I'm talking about a guy who was going to give you 80 catches every year, finished his career with over 900 catches, and took a little bit too long to get into the Hall of Fame, in my opinion, but a guy who was truly a great Redskin. And honestly, for a few years, you didn't really have any guys that you could point at and be like, this is my favorite Redskin, but a guy that I really love is Santana Moss. Yeah. And as far as the Redskins go, free agent pickups aren't really that great. They haven't really done a good job with that over the past 20 years, as long as Snyder has been overseeing this team. But that was one that worked out. One of the most exciting players I can possibly remember. A guy he gets the ball in his hands, he can take it to the house. He's a deep threat. He gets that bubble screen. He can take it 50, 60, 70 yards. And a guy that, for a tiny guy, a guy who has a big mouth and a lot of chatter and a lot of bravado. So I always loved his game. Speaking of bravado, Trent Williams, and it's a shame what's going on with him now, honestly, because he is honestly one of my favorite players.
I blame Bruce Allen for that.
We all do. we all do, man. Just an overall badass. Certainly one of the best Redskins of this past decade. Maybe one of the best offensive linemen, one of the premier offensive linemen of the past 10 years in the NFL period. Amazing athlete. 320 pounds, can dunk, can run a sub 5.040, just an amazing athlete, gets on the edge and dominates people. It's a shame what's happening to him now. I honestly hope he gets to go somewhere else and extend his career and